Hello and welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Newly elected U.S. Representative Mark Takano has his sights set on doing something about the economy, unemployment, and taking a look at the debt ceiling and maybe getting a little better reputation if you are a politician. He's here now to talk about those things. I'd like to welcome you, Mark.
Thank you, Leslie.
Starting with, you had mentioned before that representatives are less popular than cockroaches.
Well, yeah, I want to make sure we're more popular than, say, venereal disease. People are frustrated with the inaction, but we've seemed to have moved off the dime on a couple of things in Washington.
Well, one of the things that really needs to be moved off the dime is our deficit, our debt ceiling, those issues that have really created a lack of confidence in people watching the politicians, Republicans, Democrats go head to head on all of this.
Well, you know, I was heartened to see that the number of jobs was positive that we created and that the economy created in the last couple of days. And, you know, last time the Congress played politics with a debt ceiling, we saw some of those gains just wiped away. And the first thing we need to do for the Inland Empire is to make sure we do no harm. And that's why I'm very pleased to have supported the extension of the debt ceiling for 3 months. It buys us a little more time. There were no conditions placed on it except for, you know, some, I call it a gimmick to make sure that the Senate passes a budget. But really, the contention was about whether or not any cuts would be leveraged by the Republicans on this vote, and the Republicans brought down a relatively clean bill, and well, I was happy to support it.
It may be comforting in some ways that everyone's agreed to essentially kick the can down the road.
Yes.
But is that really accomplishing anything? Because the bigger problem still is there. So how are you going to accomplish something bigger in solving the underlying problem that leads to this rising of the debt limit?
I'll say it again. I mean, I agree with the president. We are not a deadbeat nation. The debt ceiling should not be used at all with regard to the larger discussion about how we're going to reduce the deficit, how we're going to chip away at the debt. The debt ceiling is really not a tool, should not be used as a political tool for that end. It's simply a matter about making sure we pay our bills. And I personally think that no party, whoever's in the majority, should try to use it as a tactic. Okay,
but you're still left with the task of accomplishing something as far as spending and taxing.
We are. But I'll say this, that the debt is something that concerns me, but more importantly is jobs and employment. And we have to do more. We've got 3.7 million jobs that are going unfilled because Americans lack the skills and the training to do them. As a member of Congress, I'm going to do something about that. Second, we have small businesses that need access to loans. Many people would like to grow their businesses here, but they can't find access to capital. And thirdly, we've got a lot of returning brave service members. I'm on the Veterans Affairs Committee. I've been appointed to be the ranking member on the Economic Opportunity Committee. I want to do everything I can to make sure that the young people, young service members transition to the economy as seamlessly as possible. The jobs, I think, ought to be our #1 focus. The economy is still fragile. We need to deal with the jobs issue first, and then turn our attention to the debt and closing the budget deficit. But that would be the way I would go at it.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it concerning, though, that if 40% of our budget goes to paying off debt, that sooner or later it's the end of the line for that?
More people employed means more people paying taxes, which will also ease the debt issue and also the fiscal deficit.
Yeah, and hopefully those successes will accomplish what you're trying to do.
Exactly. Well, and I'm pleased we had this time to chat with each other, and I hope to be back soon.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah.
All right, and thanks for joining us.